Our topic is staying strong as we age. And we have some very strong looking ladies here doing a very good job of doing a military press with one arm. So perhaps the big question here is, why should we stay strong as we age? So like you may say, so what? What's in it for me as I get older? So some of the important reasons, obviously, of staying strong as we age is that we want to continue to do our everyday activities. We want to be able to get on Zoom. We want to get outside and walk in the outdoors. We want to be able to go grocery shopping. We want to be able to lift those heavy boxes and put them up into our cupboards. We also find if we continue to stay strong, that will deter some of our chronic diseases. As we stay strong, also will reduce the risk of fall and injury. And in the end, when we really look at ourselves as we age and where we want to be in our twilight years, we really all want to lead an independent and a full life. So we're just talking about some of those everyday activities. Look at this lady up in the corner there marching up those stairs. And we have this poor lady over here who's carrying her groceries, I imagine, home from Save On Foods. And we have this other lady who's waving at us as she looks like she's heading out onto her on a bon voyage there. So aren't these just the cutest little couple here? As we age, and I think a lot of us in our retirement years really look forward to time that we can travel, perhaps take visits to be with our family. But you know, to do some traveling these days, remember the good old days when we used to travel, it's not for sissies anymore. Sometimes just getting through the airport is enough of a challenge. However, by being strong, we are able on our trips. We can go up those stairs into the museums. We can go over the cobblestones, and we can pull our not only our suitcases through the airport, but some of us actually take those suitcases and we swing them and put them over our heads in the once we get onto the airplane. So I think in keeping strong, we certainly open our options open to do more when we are traveling as well. And by keeping strong and having strong muscles, we are going to be able to deter some of these chronic conditions. And some of these conditions, I'm sure we all recognize them because they become our friends as we get older. Things like arthritis and diabetes is huge as we age. And I think with osteoporosis, I'm sure some of you ladies out there are facing osteoporosis right now. And if you don't, we know that we all know people who do have osteoporosis. And if we aren't careful, we can start picking up some extra pounds, which could lead to obesity. And the other reality is that depression is quite prevalent these days as well. So I've listed here strong muscles are needed for recreational activities. And as members of the faculty women's group, we have a large number of different activity groups. So we have a tennis group. So some of you who are playing tennis can, if you keep yourself strong, you're going to be able to hit that tennis ball a little harder. And some of us golfers, Marilyn? Marilyn can hit the golf ball a ton, but we all try to emulate, seeing if we can hit that golf ball a little bit further. And I know some of you are very active in the hiking group, so you want to make sure you can continually go up and down those hills and up and down the stairs that lead you into the river valley. And Karen mentioned that this year we have some cross-country skiers. So when you go out cross-country skiing, you can go a little bit, perhaps a little bit longer, and maybe you're a bit stronger too, that you can keep up with the rest of the people in the group. So you might have heard the term sarcopenia. Isn't that a fabulous word? I just think it's such a neat word. However, it refers to, as we get older, the loss of muscle mass and the loss of strength as we age. And the reality is, as we age, we are all going to lose some of our muscle mass. And interestingly enough, we can start losing this muscle mass even as early in our 30s. And when I was doing some research, some of the information indicates that actually in your late 20s, you start to lose some of that muscle mass. And once you get over 40, you can lose up to about 8% of muscle mass each decade. And as we get speed up and hit into our 70s, this is kind of like going down over the hill, we start picking up. And by the time we get into our 70s, we kind of lost some of about double our muscle mass starts to affect us as well. So the reality is by the age of 80, generally most of us have lost between 50 and 60% of the muscle mass that we had at the age, our ripe old age of 30 when we were in our primes. So what is this aging and muscle loss? What does that mean for us? Well, the reality is that if you are already leading an active lifestyle, it's going to accelerate that muscle loss. This loss of muscle can lead to a loss of strength, and it can increase the risk of injury. A sedentary lifestyle can affect chronic health and mobility. And one of the things we really want to be careful about as we get older, and we were talking about osteoporosis, that if we have a bad fall and we're getting into our twilight years, I think we all know how serious that can be for us. At least a large percent of the population of people who fall and break their hip will never come out of the hospital as well. So that's a kind of a sobering thought. So we know with all these medical advances that our life expectancies are going up. I think the average age right now for women in Canada, the average age of life is 84 years of age. However, we are noticing that over the age of 70, and even perhaps for some people before, that these people are having difficulty performing our everyday functions. So here's I don't know if any of you ladies have got caught into this situation where we're sitting around watching the soaps and you know who comes home for dinner. So we're going to just talk a little bit about chronic sitting here. Chronic sitting is a term we haven't heard of until perhaps the last decade, but it's linked to a number of health concerns, obesity, increased blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and high cholesterol levels. And where it's all linked to, obviously, to our sedentary lifestyles. I think in some ways we're so fortunate to be living in an age where we have all this technology around us, but in some ways it really is being it's a bit of a concern for some of our health as well. So some of you may recognize yourself. Look at all of us sitting here now on our computer with our chronic sitting. But unfortunately, you'll notice, I wouldn't call her chair particularly ergonomically correct, and she's got her legs crossed, which you shouldn't have when you're working on your computer. So this becomes a way of life for so many people where they spend most of their life sitting in a chair. And there's incidents where people who are sitting in a chair or even sitting in a car, sitting on the sofa watching the soaps, where they sit there for over 8 hours a day and get no exercise at all. I guess the good news is about this is if you get out there for an hour every day, you can actually counter some of the effects of chronic sitting. It isn't quite perfect, but you can make it a lot better. In fact, you've probably heard about chronic sitting, that some people compare it to the same effects as being a smoker these days as well. So it's the new smoking is the chronic sitting. However, when we look at how strong we are, our muscle health, we actually can predict how healthy we will be and how long we will live and active and we can, sorry, and how long we can be active and independent. So what can we do about staying strong? So we know that aging is inevitable, but actually muscle loss doesn't have to be. With exercise and an active lifestyle, we can slow the rate of muscle loss. And so for some of you, or for some of all of us who have kept ourselves quite physically active over the years, your rate of muscle loss, it may not be quite as severe as someone who has never really got into doing a lot of exercise or activity in their lives. So you really come from a stronger base you're kind of reaping the benefits by staying active in your life as well. So we know that exercise is good for us, and it's certainly something that most of us are now putting into our everyday lives to stay stronger. And there's really a large number of choices out there of things that we can do, whether it's yoga and Pilates. We have aerobics, Tai Chi. There's all sorts of different martial arts. I was talking to you, Karen Bain, about the fact that Karen was telling me how much she was enjoying a type of exercise program called eccentrics. I don't know if any of you have heard about that. You probably, if you can join in with something like that. But I think the idea about all these choices is to find something that you really enjoy and keep at it. So let's talk a little bit about the importance of walking. I can't say enough about walking. I think it's probably people are really underestimating how important walking can be. And we'll be talking a little bit more about those importance as well. So I guess the mantra here is go for a walk when you can, where you can. Your body, mind, and soul will thank you for it. So let's talk again about walking. It's just so, I think it's just so common that we don't really give it the credit that it deserves. It's good because it's just so functional. It takes us any place we really want to go. And one of the important things is it's weight bearing, which is for growing. If we want to keep strong, by keeping weight bearing exercises, it will stimulate muscle and calcium as well. Most of the time, if we're walking, especially or moving at a little bit of a pace, we're going to get some of those aerobic benefits. And there's also, we're talking about how some of these exercises are good for the soul and for our mood. And it's a lot of people feel walking is a bit of an antidepressant as well. So there's all sorts of benefits. The benefits of walking are endless. So I don't know if people who know me may realize one of the things I'm a kind of a supporter of is pole walking. So if you enjoy walking, you'll, and getting some of the benefits of walking, pole walking takes the exercise of walking and kind of hits it up a few notches. So by walking with poles, now you're increasing the number of muscles you're using in your body, and they say that you use up to about 80% of all your muscles. You're obviously going to engage a little bit more cardio when you use poles. And the idea here is that you are really engaging more of the upper body muscles as well. So here are two ladies. I think most of you probably have seen people wandering around your neighborhood with these poles. And I know when I'm out, occasionally I'll have somebody say, what's the deal with those poles? Like, what are those for? So with these two ladies, they seem to be having a good time. And I think just talking about exercise too is we often wonder if we could keep ourselves motivated, but one of the markers for longevity, well, there's a couple. One of them is being physically active, but the other one is being socially engaged. So you notice these two ladies are seem to be enjoying themselves. They're having a chat. So I think often exercising in a group, whether it's with your tennis group or with your walkers, your hiking groups and our golf group, we're going to have a little more motivation to get out and enjoy ourselves and get a little bit more out of that exercise as well. Some of you have probably heard about the 10,000 steps. It's been around with us for quite a long time now. It was actually put into place by the Japanese, who, and interestingly enough, I don't know if any of them ever realized what 10,000 steps really meant. They really hadn't done a lot of research when they decided to call it 10,000 steps. But actually, it's not a bad goal to, when you go out on your walk, to see if you can do 10,000 steps. 10,000 steps is approximately 5 miles, so that's a pretty good walk. The research actually indicates to us that anything really just over 7,000 steps, you're going to reap some of the healthy benefits of the walking. But anything, but putting in these 10,000 steps, you'll find that it will boost your energy. It will help you manage your weight. It will help with building those stronger bones and muscles. And again, you'll get some of those benefits of enhancing your mood, feeling good at being outside. It'll make you start feeling good about yourself, that you can actually walk. You are feeling yourself fit and feeling pretty good about yourself as well. So one of the things we have just to kind of think about is how fast do we walk? And interestingly, how fast we walk is really will give us a kind of an indicator of our overall health. And I don't know, I've just noticed in the last month, I don't know if any of you get the journal, there's been a bit of information about the fact that they've noticed that people who tend to be walking slowly, it could be a little bit of an indicator of cognitive decline as well. And I think we all have seen certainly people who are extremely old have very slow walking. I call it the senior shuffle as well. So I'm just trying to challenge some of you when you're out walking to see how fast you are walking. I often ask people to walk at a leisurely pace, but there's nothing wrong with stepping up your walking as well, just to get a little bit more out of those out of your walk. So I've got a video here, and it's quite certainly you'll learn a little bit more about walking. And I hope you'll enjoy it. It's about just over 5 minutes long. One of the things I think it gets a little bit overrated as we get older. And when I go to often go to conferences on senior fitness and all, the big thing that comes up is that as we age, we're perhaps not getting enough protein into our diets. So I think in some ways protein has got a bit of a bad rap. So I guess the challenge is to put some protein in our diet. Without protein, our body starts to break down. Protein helps to keep our muscles and bones strong. And we should be putting protein in every meal. We often think about having protein for dinner and a meat, but it really should be spaced in our various meals throughout the day. So what are some of these high protein foods that maybe we should be considering putting into our diet? We've got, well, I think you can read there what the different choices are. I think there's certainly, we want to make sure that we are looking at lean types of meat, obviously chicken and fish. And even I think there's lots of choices there for people who are vegans to make sure that they're getting protein into their diets. So let's talk a little bit about the different components of fitness. So when you break down and we do fitness classes, especially just to go to an overall fitness classes, They'll look at different components such as cardio, they'll look at flexibility, we've got balance, we've got coordination, and we also have strength. Now, when you look at those different components, what do you think really is perhaps the most important? Well, I know when I do the classes, and I do my fitness classes generally, well, they're aimed at seniors, but the ones that I find too is really working on that muscles, those trying to keep stronger. I often think for working for seniors, increasing the muscle mass and also working on balance too, because as mentioning that having a bad fall can be it can be a life changer as well. The other thing people I don't think are aware of is that when we're doing a bit of weight training, that there is also even in weight training, there is an aerobic component as well. So you're not aware that your heart is working, but it is happening as well. So some of the other benefits of doing a bit of weight training is that obviously, as the gentleman mentioned even too about walking, it's going to help with our bone density. It's going to boost our metabolism as it burns calories. It's going to help us again with our cognitive, our memories, cognitive, all of those important parts of our brains. It's going to help us prevent those injuries. And it's really helps support our skeletons and keep our whole bodies in a proper alignment. And overall really can improve our quality of health. I think what happens when people hear about weight training, it's kind of something that's probably more popular now than it was perhaps even when we were growing up. I think we often think about weight trainers, we think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that we're all going to end up with these big bulgy muscles, but I think we all know that that perhaps isn't going to happen. With strength training, we look at seeing if we can do it twice a week, 3 times a week is even better. So when we start doing different exercises, we try to do each exercise for about 8 to 10 repetitions. And then we try to wait for a couple of days between each of these sessions. So if we were going to do it twice a week, you may choose Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I think you probably get the idea there. So I think perhaps our message here is trying to sit less and move more. That will contribute to better health. And perhaps when we're just talking about sitting less and moving more, perhaps our challenge in our everyday life is looking at ways where we really can put more movement. I mean, and we noticed the lady there strutting up those steps. So going up the steps as opposed to taking the stairs, maybe parking your car at the far end of the parking lot and just moving into the mall. You don't have to park right in front of the store. There's so many different ways, but maybe that's our challenge. Perhaps if you're on the bus, you may choose to get off maybe a couple stops early and do some more walking. And maybe we don't have to take our car everywhere. Maybe we can take our bicycles. We can walk there, do all of those good things as well. So exercise increases our muscle strength and the endurance. That's a very important part of it as well. We can do things a little bit longer, and it helps us functionally too. We're going to be able to be a little more functional in what we do. So exercise is obviously necessary. It helps with increasing our muscle mass. And I guess my point here is that kind of the 2 best ways to increase muscle mass is strength training and through cardio as well. So staying strong as we age, we know that the benefits of regular exercise and physical activity will help us live an independent lifestyle and will keep us healthy. And perhaps my little message today is that weight training will keep us stronger and will help us perhaps look better as well, as it will help tone our bodies. So here's a good food for thought too. So I'll let you folks just read this, that this is the other benefit, right, of being strong as well. So I'm going to just stop at this point, and let's open it up here. I know we have some people. I'll let Marilyn perhaps handle this part as well. So there's the presentation. Hopefully some of you got something out of it. And I don't know if any of you at this point have a question or a comment, something that they would like to add as well. So
can you regain muscle loss if you start strength training?
Yes, that's a good question. Somebody mentioned whether the statistics show and research shows that you can bring your muscle mass back by at least 50 to 60%. And you're never too old either to start weight training or adding to your strength. There's interesting, I was reading this, a study that was done in a seniors complex where the average age was something like 90. And they were talking about the fact that how amazing it was that these people at that age, how much you can bring yourself back. Let's face it, we'll never be as strong as we were when we were in our 20s. However, you can certainly bring yourselves back quite a bit. And I think with all of these, I'll just mention as we start entering into more the fitness part of the program here, is like with everything else, if something is new, you really have to kind of go at it gently and to kind of build yourself up. So I know with some of you who were in the class or joined in a little earlier, I was mentioning about maybe at this point, grab some weights. Again, you don't have, if you have anything. So I'm going to just bring my chair back a little bit here. Hopefully everybody can see me. So now we're now in the fitness studio, and I know I mentioned it for everybody about the weights. Having said that, we don't really need our weights really at the very beginning, because in a lot of ways, you know, if we're going to use weight training, we can use, weights are very, very popular. We can also use resistance bands. But we don't, and for some of our exercises, we really don't need any equipment at all. So I'm going to suggest that when we start that we don't really need, let's just start without any equipment at all. So I've got my chair here, and I'm going to look at what we can do to keep our lower body nice and straight, or nice and strong. So if I was sitting here, one of the most functional of all of our exercises are squats. So if I was to stand here, and I notice some of you are still sitting there. I want everybody to, this is for everybody now. Good work, everybody. So if I'm standing here, and again, if you are concerned about your health and any of these, really, I know if you talk to your doctors and all, they really encourage people to exercise. But if you are a bit concerned, you can watch. There's no problem about that. So I've got my chair here, and I'm just going to take myself, and I'm just going to get myself into the chair, and down we go. So this is again a functional thing. So again, I'm going to see if I can get out of my chair. I think a large number of you will have no problems at all. But if we start just tipping ourselves forward, if you're a bit concerned about getting out of the chair, you've got your hands here to help propel yourself. Our head actually weighs about 14 pounds. So as we bring ourselves forward, little momentum, we push down right up through those heels, and up we get. So how good was that for everybody? Oh, I see all sorts of people popping up here. Well, good for you. So we're going to try, oh God, I forgot the warm-up. I was going to do a little warm-up with us today, but perhaps we're we're right into it. So again, let's make sure the chair is there. Let's bring ourselves down. Now this time when we get out of the chair, we're going to get ourselves up and we're going to take a step forward with our right foot. So I'm leaning forward, I'm stepping up, and I'm stepping forward. So this is really functional. This is what we do when we get out of our chairs as a rule. So again, make sure the chair is there. I'm going to sit down into that chair. Everybody with me? I'm going to lean forward. This time, I'm going to step on my left foot, right? I'm stepping left and back we come and bringing ourselves down. This time when we stand up, let's take a little step to the right. Up I get, off to the side, back to center. Oh, you guys are looking fabulous. Again, check, make sure the chair is there. Oh, good work. Up we come out of the chair. This time, just take a little step to the left, back to center, and back we go. So how strong are those legs of yours? So by getting out of the chair and doing this quite often, let's do one more getting out of the chair. There we go. Well, good for you. So by adding, if we were to do that, we mentioned that most of the time when we do exercises, we do them in we do them in repetitions. So we could do up to 8 or 10. So if you were at home and you wanted to add that to your program, make sure you do it 8 to 10 times. I took a course not too long ago about, it was called Healthy Aging in Japan. And one of the things they mentioned that everyone should be able to get out of a chair using one leg, okay? So this is a bit of a challenge, but it kind of does show you how strong you could be. I'm not too particularly good at that, but up we get using one foot. So if you can do that, that's a good indicator how strong those legs really are. So again, we have to use equal opportunity for each side. So this time I'm going to sit down. I'm going to get out of my chair, but this time I'm going to use my left leg to get up, okay? Using one leg, up we get, and down we go. So that's something to think about, to work on as well. So again, put those squats into your routine as well. Let's look at a few other good exercises we could do for the lower body. So again, the chair can be your friend. If you are all concerned about your balance along the way, hold on to that chair. One of the other really good exercise, and it's probably a simple one, and I think a large number of you have gone to fitness classes, it's just this exercise where we come up onto our toes and then bring ourselves back onto those heels. These calves here are like the heart of our legs. They contain a lot of power. So we come up onto our toes and again, rolling back onto those heels. So up it comes. Again, you're concerned about the balance, hold on to that chair. Up it comes and nice and slowly down. Let's try a few more of those. So up it comes and nice and slowly down. Oh, let's try 2 more. Easy peasy, right? Up it comes and slowly down. Oh, 1 more. Up we come and nice and slowly down. So we all carry these great big glute muscles. These glute muscles are one of the largest muscle in size in the whole body. So we use those when we're walking, especially when we're stepping to the side. So if I'm keeping myself nice and tall, just being able to do that little kick to the side, off it comes. Want to keep that those butt muscles nice and strong. So again, if I was to do starting off, maybe I'll start off by again doing maybe 8 to 10, 6 to 10. We'll see how strong you're feeling, and away we go. So hopefully people find that can handle that one not too badly. Up we come, Good. And we can go back and forth, right? Back and forth we come. So again, when we look at our lower body versus our upper body, most of us are stronger in the lower body just because I think we are walkers. We go through our house and do all of those good things as well. So for those of you who have some weights, let's grab or something you decided to use for weights. Let's grab those out. And let's get back into our chairs as well. So I'm going to come from here. So again, I'm bringing myself up to the front here of my chair. And I've got my weights here in my hands. Perhaps everybody knows probably one of the more fundamental exercises that we do is the bicep curl, right? So I've got my hands here. I'm also going to see if I can get my elbows nice and tight to the side. I'm trying to isolate those big bulging muscles at the back of the top of my arms. So I'm sitting at the front of the chair. I'm also thinking about pushing my belly button way to the back of my spine. I'm trying to think about engaging some of those core muscles as well. So again, let's see if we can try 8 of these. I've already done 3, so let's go 6 and 5. Oh my gosh, nice and slowly, eh? Do you notice when we bring those arms down, we do it nice and slowly. We don't want gravity to do all the work. We want to do it nice and under control. Up we come. Oh, let's try 2 more. And 1. Oh, good work, everybody. And 2. And let's relax. We can always roll those shoulders around a little bit as well. So the other muscle group that we like to work are these muscles at the back of the arms. These are some people, I've heard people refer to these as bat wings. But these are the muscles that tend to wiggle and giggle on us when we really don't want it. So perhaps the best exercise for working those triceps are push-ups. I think a lot of us don't want to get it down on the ground anymore to do push-ups, but if you can do it, that's probably the best way to do it. The other way you can do that exercise is you can do it against the wall. You can do push-ups against the wall, right? You just stand a couple feet and you go back and forth. So however, this isn't too bad either. I'm going to keep my elbows tight to the side, and this is often just called a pushback. So if I was sitting here, got my elbow, and I'm bringing it forward, pushing it back. So those triceps we do use for pushing. So if we're on Safeway and we're pushing those carts around the store, these are the muscle groups that we're using. Think about pushing that furniture around after you want to do some vacuuming, but sometimes you have to push that furniture around. You may be using those triceps as well. So I generally we use both of those arms at the same time. There we go. So one of the advantages, I think, of weight training is that we can isolate the different muscle groups so that by the time we're finished, we've really got an overall exercise going. So I'm going to take my weights and I'm just going to rest them here behind my kneecaps. So again, I'm sitting tall, I'm engaging those core muscles. I'm going to lift my weights up just slightly. I'm going to pretend I'm in a rowboat going down the North Saskatchewan River, and I'm bringing my elbows back, bringing them forward. So that's a little rowing motion, right? Now, I've got my hands here kind of on top of my knees. I could bring my arms up a little higher if I choose. The higher up those arms go, a little bit more effort is needed. But look I've got a lot of different muscle groups going here. I've got my shoulders, I've got my arms, but I've also got those back muscles going too. So again, nice and slowly, we're just keeping it as slow almost as we can go. How's that doing for people? Let's see if we can do about 3 more of those. So it's 3 and 2 Oh, can we do one more? Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, is everybody feeling like this is starting to feel like some work? There we go, good work. So let's try a few over the head presses. Some people call these military presses. And I know a large number of people have issues with their shoulders and find it really quite hard to get that arm over their head. However, talk about functional things is that we do have to get that arm over our head even when we put our clothes on, we're reaching up perhaps in the shower to grab the shampoo. So I got my arms here. Now, if you have some arm issues, you could just go up a little bit, or I often mention that people can push it below the shoulders. But if you're feeling strong, let's see if we can do 6 of these. Everybody ready? So the arm goes extending all the way. Oh my gosh, look at all those arms go up. Oh, woohoo, good work. And again, nice and slowly, 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 slowly down we go. Up, oh my gosh. How are we doing? So there's 2. Good stuff. Shoulders and arms, but we're also again using those back muscles to push those arms over the head. Up we come. Oh, we have to do this sometimes when we put our nightgowns on, right? Oh yeah, up they come. Up we go. Good stuff. Okay, let's try one more, right? Up it comes. And again, slowly, 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 slowly down we go. Well, you guys are wonderful. Let's just try one more little set, and then we will talk about doing the penguin walk too. Somebody asked about the penguin walk. So with the other little set will end up, I've got my arms here. I'm just going to bring them up to the side. And now think about dragging those groceries out to the Safeways, to your car from the Safeway store, right? Or think about carrying those great big heavy bags of garbage out to the curb. Down it goes. So when we're doing this particular exercise, at the top of the arm, there's a large group of muscles called the deltoids, right? And when they contract, up those arms go. So up we come. And again, nice and slowly down. If I just drop my arms, I'm kind of losing a little bit out of the exercise. Let's try one more. I don't want to turn anybody off doing these exercises too. And slowly, slowly, slowly down we go. Well, you guys are wonderful. So I guess my challenge to you is seeing if perhaps, again, we're looking at putting a little bit more activity, a little bit more into your everyday life to make you stronger. This certainly is a choice to do that as well. So I'm just going to put my weights down here. Somebody had asked a question, and not a question, talked a little bit about the penguin walk. And because we're still in February and we still have some ice and snow around, this could perhaps be a very, very practical thing to do. So as we're walking out along the sidewalks, maybe crossing the road, and you're confronted with some ice, you can do what's often called the penguin walk. So we're going to get ourselves looking like penguins. So I'm going to take my toes and I'm going to spread them out, and I'm going to keep my legs quite wide as well. And I'm going to lower my center of gravity here. And as I'm going to walk, I'm going to keep my eyes looking at where some of that ice could be. And very slowly, I'm going to do the penguin walk, right? There we go. And again, you may go this way, and we may, oh, that wasn't a good way to do it, and off we go. So again, think about if you're out there, you're confronted with some of those challenges on the road. Think about doing the penguin walk. So I think a large number of us are also wearing some pretty good footwear so we don't always have to do the penguin walk, but it's certainly worth thinking about as well. Your health is your wealth, right? Nice seeing everybody. Here's to you. Yeah, take care, everyone.